Alright folks, good morning. You're watching AMS Live, my name is Boy. It is Monday, November 20th. And let's see if we can do better than yesterday. Same runway, less wind than yesterday. At the moment, this is the only runway being used for arrivals, Polderbaan, a little bit of crosswind. And we should stay mostly dry, although we might get a few droplets a bit later in the morning. A warm welcome to everybody. Hope everybody has had a good weekend. JD, goedemorgen, good morning. Andrew, Wendy, Maria. Qantas, Australia 747 fan, good morning. Festival lover, good morning. Jackie, goedemorgen. Patrick, goedemorgen. Erik, Donzelli, goedemorgen. Good morning to you all. As you can see, it is sunny at the moment. Although we might get a few droplets later. This is the current weather situation. This is the last hour. Just did a refresh. We are at this yellow square over here. You can see that we do have some shower formation, but earlier we also saw that it would dissolve again as it moved land inward. I will show you in a minute. There is something at the horizon, little southwest of me. Not sure if it's going to hit me or not. At the moment, this is the current runway usage. We are over here at the Polderbaan, and Kaagbaan and Aalsmeerbaan are being used for departures. What's the weather like? Well, 12 knot wind from 240 degrees. Less than yesterday. That means that the crosswind component is 10 knots. We might see a little bit of crabbing, but not substantial. For the rest, not much going on. Few clouds at 2,100 feet. It is 11 degrees Celsius. So that is roughly 42 degrees or 52 degrees. 22 plus 30. That's 52 degrees Fahrenheit approximately. In terms of quads, what is expected? Well, this 747 left Miami just and will arrive later in the afternoon. That will arrive too late for us. So there are 3 airplanes that are of interest. We have the A340 from Surinam Airways that is expected to arrive in just under an hour. Preceding the Emirates A380 is a 747 arriving from Doha. Will be around noon that it is arriving. It is coming from the east with our luck. And the same goes for the A380, which is expected around 12:35. We probably will not see that land on this runway. They will probably have opened up a secondary runway for arrivals by then, but we'll see. For now, let's just focus on the airplanes coming. Got a couple of heavies, I believe, and everything coming in from the United States is also underway. So hopefully we'll have a nice morning over here. Starting off with this Lot Embraer. And our next airplane is going to be the first heavy of the show, TUI Flight 381, arriving from Curaçao, a 787-8 Dreamliner. Little bit of crabbing, as you guys can see, not as much as yesterday. TUI Flight 381, 787-8 Dreamliner, arriving from Curaçao, Willemstad, flight time 8 hours and 39 minutes as we speak. The airplane is 9 years old and had its first flight in November of the year 2014. And good morning, Maria, Patrick, Erik, Donzelli, Jono, Thomas, goedemorgen. Row Aviation, good morning. Peter, goedemorgen. Elton, good morning. Roll the way to Stone, good morning. Mario, guten Morgen. Captain Eddie Bos, good evening or good afternoon. Moisture on the runway, you can see it. Sander, goedemorgen kerel. Alles lekker? Veldi, guten Morgen. Ben, goedemorgen. Heineken. Paula, goedemorgen. Well, big picture wise, this is what it currently looks like. The sun is out. This is what it looks like to the south. This is what I'm looking at, looking southwest. It is coming closer. I'm not sure if I'm going to be under it or if it is going to pass south of me. We'll have to see. Looking east, it looks like this. And looking to the north, this is what it looks like. We are able to see glide slope shots today. Our next airplane is an A319 from EasyJet arriving from Bristol. With a flight time of 56 minutes as we speak. A 15-year-old airplane that had its first flight in July 2008. And indeed, Sander, yesterday I had a very short stream, 2 airplanes and the firefighters in just under 25 minutes, I believe it was in total. They closed the runway in favor of runway 27 and would not reopen it until 11 o'clock or something, and then only for 40 minutes according to Bezoek Bus. So that was not worth waiting for, unfortunately. And good morning to Tina, happy Monday. Debbie, good morning. Marlene, good morning. Jen Drossik, goedemorgen. Good morning. Mrs. Professor, good morning. The weather does look decent. Just don't look too much in this direction. Looks like it is a rain shower forming. We'll have to see if it is going to pass over or along us, besides us. I'm hoping for the latter, obviously. Embraer 190 arriving from Hamburg up next. KLM flight 1778. Flight time 42 minutes as we speak, and the airplane 14 years old. Began flying in April of the year 2009. Mies, goedemorgen, good morning. Embraer butt shot incoming. A little bit further to the left. Come on. Bit more. Bit more. There you go. That's it. Now, I did see a couple of ducks, in fact, further south as I was walking up here. I think you will see them over there. Although, is that them? I think it is, yeah. Faint, but they're there. Good to see that they have returned. And this is Vueling arriving from Barcelona. Will be followed by El Al arriving from Tel Aviv. I figured I'd do a stream today because of Saturday and Sunday. Well, Saturday, rain all day. And yesterday, obviously, just a very short stream. Indeed, Sander. Qualitatively, extremely disappointing, but then in Dutch. Pieter, goedemorgen. Ricardo, goedemorgen. En gefeliciteerd. Happy birthday. Ricardo celebrates his birthday today. Hoe lang zal die leven? Nice one. Happy birthday, buddy. Hope you'll have a great day. Sam, goedemorgen. Lena, goedemorgen. Steve Ford, good morning. Welcome. Hope everybody had a good weekend. My weather app gives me another warning that says in the next hour there is a chance of rain showers. Well, no shit. That cloud we saw, definitely indicative of precipitation. The question is, how much will we be under it? We'll find out eventually. This is El Al flight 839 arriving from Tel Aviv, a 737-800. Flight time seems a bit longer than normal, 5.5 hours. That's not normal for Tel Aviv, right? That's normally 4.5 or so. It's a 21-year-old airplane that had its first flight in May of the year 2002. Today's El 737 done in a wedding dress. Apparently getting married soon. So this might be a bridal butt shot then. Mark, good morning. Gary, good morning. Vishal, good morning. Tiger, good morning. Our latest, one of our two latest new moderators, welcome. Peter, goedemorgen. Saeed, good morning. Welcome to the stream. Mike Wild, good morning. We definitely don't have time to linger. Not a lot of separation. Air Europa today, also with a 737. Good morning, Kelly Cruz. Vishal, I'm doing perfectly fine. Thank you for asking. Hope the same goes for you, buddy. Now, that cloud, I'm not sure. I think most of it will pass south of us. It's too bad you don't have time-lapse vision yourself. You have to film it and then play it back to see its movement a bit better. Now a couple of heavies. KLM flight 592 arriving from Johannesburg, 777-300 ER, flight time 10 hours 26 minutes. Bit of a pity, this morning the just repainted Orange Pride returned from a faraway destination, but it arrived I think in early morning already. I was looking forward to seeing the new livery. Basically, they incorporated a Dutch flag between the orange and the blue. Looks nice. If you look on Flight Radar, you can see a picture, an updated picture already. Hadi Leen, goedemorgen. JW Slijm, goedemorgen. Me, myself, good morning. Butt emoji still missing. Yeah, no, we have a butt shot emoji instead. A butt emoji, a pure butt emoji still is missing. That is absolutely true. Mudviva, good morning. And Father Treep, KK, who is tuning in from Thailand. Good morning, welcome to the show. This is Delta Airlines flight 136 A350, arriving from Detroit, Michigan, landing after 6 hours and 45 minutes of flight. 6 years old, first flight May 2017. Goedemorgen Patrick, welkom. Indeed, Jendrosek, it does bear similarities to a toothpaste swoosh. Die Afrodite, goedemorgen. Alrighty, next up will be an A321 Speedbird flight 2540 arriving from London Gatwick. Let's have a look at the pipeline. Can we see more than one airplane? I'm just seeing two also crouching behind the laptop screen. BA Euroflyer operates this airplane. At least that's what Flight Radar says. To me it looks like a British Airways airplane. Wondering if you might be able to pick up on differences. Don't think you do. Nothing that would set it apart from other airplanes. Of course, KLM has KLM and KLM Asia, one with the crown, one without, the other without. Butt shot established. Doing fine, thank you for asking, Aphrodite. Hope the same goes for you. JW Slijm says Martinair Cargo will be leaving soon. Well, there is an A321 coming next, and after that too heavy, so I have to see how we can combine that, if it is possible. Let me have a quick look at 747. Oh, 747 will be taking off from 18 left. Okay. So we won't be able to see a lot of it. Finnair arriving from Helsinki. Wondering if we can even see something with the backlight. The sun, of course, shining without much hindrance. I'm wondering if you could even see airplanes taking off from the runway. Let's check back a little later, because now a couple of heavies are coming. Up next, A330 300 KLM flight KLM flight 777, which of course is being flown on an A330 300, arriving from Port of Spain. Flight time 8 hours 48 minutes. This airplane is 10 years old and had its first flight in January 2013. Good to hear that, Aphrodite. And Mojave and Otto, good morning to you both. Welcome back, guys. I think it's going to be difficult seeing airplanes take off from runway 18 left from this angle at this time of day under these weather conditions. I think the sun outshines them all. Another A330 is coming in, Delta Airlines flight 36, arriving from Orlando, Florida. After a flight of 8 hours and 9 minutes, about to set foot on Dutch ground, Dutch soil. The airplane is 16 years old, first flight November 2006. Now, interesting to see that cloud is coming closer by, but I'm also seeing blue immediately behind it. So we might pick up a few droplets, but it doesn't look like it is going to be substantial. Mark asks if I can speak Spanish. Unfortunately, I don't. I cannot. A little bit of Dutch, a little bit of English, an even lesser bit of German, and far less Italian and French. So the clouds are definitely coming. This is what it currently looks like over here. You can see blue in between. You can also clearly see blue just behind it. So it does look like whatever was coming is dissolving a little bit. I'm not sure. Looking at the horizon, it does look like no increased nebulosity, so it doesn't look like what is coming here is actually rain. There's no rain coming out of it. And what you can see up ahead, I think, for insofar as that is an actual shower cloud, will pass south of me. So if I have to get my amateur weather guy skills in, I would say it is likely going to be all right over here. Where am I now on flight radar? Right, there we go. This is American Airlines flight 204, arriving from Philadelphia. Obviously a Dreamliner. No sooner have I said that I think it's going to be okay, and I am starting to hear a few droplets fall. But since I can clearly see up ahead in all directions, I think it isn't going to amount to a lot. You have to look really closely in the water to even see the droplets. I think we're going to be alright. Or at least I say think, I mean hope. Alright, now our next airplane up ahead is a cargo A321 from MNG Airlines, flight 724, arriving from Istanbul. Flight time 3 hours and 34 minutes, 15 years old. First flight January 2008. And Stefan asks, from which nation are you? I am from the Netherlands, my friend. I am 100% cheese, with a few holes here and there, mostly in my memory. And thank you for your kind words, Mark, who says I do a very superb job for you guys. Well, thank you so much. Glad you appreciate what I'm doing. I hope that goes for everybody, of course. And if you do like what you're seeing, don't forget to drop a like if you haven't done so already. Also, if you want to stay informed of when I'm going live, make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. Hit the bell and you will get notified beforehand. I do try to maintain a regular schedule, Thursdays through Sundays, but like for instance last weekend when it was raining all day on Saturday, and yesterday I had bad luck choosing the wrong runway and only got to stream for less than half an hour. I do occasionally also go out on Mondays. The next storm, I will try to come better prepared than the one from the beginning of the month. If that is on a Monday, I will definitely rearrange my schedule to make time for that. Hey, I said cargo, but oh no, it was just a... No, it is cargo, but I was fooled for a moment because I did see the windows that apparently have been painted over or something. Looks like it. Or did they just leave prints of where the windows used to be? Now you can clearly see. I think they've painted over the windows and they have left them in place. Well, at the moment we do have a couple of raindrops falling. You might pick up on it on the mic, but looking in the direction of the wind, this is what it looks like. I did bring my cloth along, so if there are any droplets on the lens, I will clean that as soon as it has become dry again. Hey there, John Freddy, good morning. John says, much needed rain has arrived here in Queensland. Looks like it will be around for a few days. Great stream as usual, great coverage. Thanks for your kind words, John. I'm happy that you guys, if you are in need of precipitation, are finally getting some. It's only spring over there and summer still has to begin. It even made the news over here that you guys were having droughts and heat already so early in the season this year. So I wish we could send you some rain, some excess rain. I would happily change that, exchange that for some sunshine. But no dice, still not possible. Freebird Airlines, by the way, arriving from Dubrovnik, this, an A320. Beautifully see the heat wave emanating from the engines. Plus a departure, well, okay, so we do still see departures from runway 24 from over here, but you can see definitely not the best of visibility. Might improve after the shower has passed by. Hope it will. Right now, another flying AMS Live logo arriving from Cartagena, a 787-10 Dreamliner. The wind is also picking up a little bit. I disabled image stabilizer. Hopefully the calmness will return, otherwise I will have to engage it. KLM Flight 741 arriving from Cartagena, 787-10 Dreamliner. Gerrit, goedemorgen. Arjan, goedemorgen. Kevin, good morning. All other viewers who have joined us in the meantime, welcome to the show. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. We're having a few rain droplets over here, but more blue sky up ahead. I think most of what you see over there will pass south of us. The wind, at least just above ground level, is from the southwest, so we're now pointing away from the wind. Got the VW bird control vehicle over there. And our next airplane over there, which is an A320 arriving from Frankfurt. Lufthansa flight 988. In the top left you can see the next airplane behind it. Is that an A330? It sure looks like it. And it is Delta Airlines flight 74 arriving from Atlanta, Georgia after it. This A320 arriving from Frankfurt has been flying now for 51 minutes and is 13 years old. First flight was in April 2010. You can definitely see that the wind, at least momentarily, picked up a little bit with the passage of the rain. You often see that. Typically preceding a rain shower, wind picking up. I'm hoping that the calmness will return as soon as it has moved away a little bit. Thank you for that offer, Chris. You can have some of our 34 degrees C here in Perth. Well, when can I pick it up, mate? Make sure you have it ready. I'll be on my way. Right, time to wrap up. Need to pick up some sunshine from Perth. Book me a last minute flight. Right, got a couple of heavies up next. To begin with this A330-300. Behind it is a 777-200. The 200 arriving from JFK. And this is Delta Airlines flight 74 arriving from Atlanta, Georgia. It's an Airbus A330-300 that has been flying now for 7 hours and 40 minutes. 18 years old in total. First flight January of the year 2005. Some nice diffraction patterns from the lens and droplets on the lens. It has stopped raining, so I'll clean everything after the 777 has landed, which I think leaves a little gap before the next heavy, which is an A330-200 arriving from Toronto. Gerrit asks about the spider situation. None to be seen here at the moment. I have moved a few meters to the south. Also because the grass where I have frequently stood has turned into mud somewhat. You could also hear that last Friday, I believe it was, when doing the afternoon stream. A bit mushy. Need to make dirty noises, or at least noises that sound dirty. A bit further in the grass, I'm not sure if that has helped, or maybe because of the wind that is blowing today and was nearly absent on Friday, but no spiders so far. Fingers crossed it's going to stay that way. 777-200 arriving from New York, JFK, flight 644. Right, let's have a look at the lens quickly. Fixate the tripod and get out my cleaning cloth. Where did I put it? There we go. Right. Just 1 and 2 little droplets that I can see. Cool. Now, even though I have a hood over the LCD screen of the camera, there were also a few droplets on it, which now have also been removed, and a few droplets on my phone screen. So screen off, wipe dry. Right, we should be good again. Morgen dronen oldies, hartstikke willkommen. There we go, our next airplane. A330-200 arriving from Toronto, Canada. KLM flight 694, and we should, I think, can we see it? Ooh, looking behind me, no. Visibility to the north, not yet optimal, unfortunately. KLM flight 602 arriving from LAX. Oh, near bird strike. Oh, look out. Right. 787-10 Dreamliner arriving from LAX number 2, but we couldn't see it just yet. Pretty sure after this airplane has landed we are going to be able to see it. 777-300, no, this is the A330-200 arriving from Toronto. Pleasant surprise seeing this from a KLM A330. Right, now Chris, thank you so much for that super chat. Chris saying, all the best, have a nice hot coffee on me. Thank you very much, Chris. I most certainly will. Thank you so much for that, and appreciate your kind words. Thank you so much for that, Chris. Now, will we also be seeing some spray from the next airplane? KLM flight 602, 787-10 Dreamliner, coming back home from LAX. This airplane left LAX 9 hours and 36 minutes ago. The airplane is 1 year old, first flight June 2022. Not seeing any airplanes immediately behind it on flight radar. Let me pinch and zoom out a little bit. Right, so we do have a little gap in between. Great opportunity to once again show you guys what it looks like over here. The sun coming out again, beautifully illuminating this airplane from the front and left a little bit. Come on. I did hear some spooling up, but it's almost like they were thinking, oh shit, wrong lever. Quickly disengage the reverser. Right, so big picture wise, current status quo, looking to the south, clouds in the distance, blue sky above me. Think that the rain will pass south insofar as that is containing rain. You can still see the grass is, or the land I should say, still very wet over here. We've had lots and lots of rain. both in October and in November. This is what it looks like to the east. Now the wind is blowing, just to be clear, roughly from this direction, southwest. So this is where we need to look to see upcoming weather. For now, we're good. This is looking to the northeast, and you can also see what the wind is doing. Blowing more or less away from us, a little bit from left to right, so the wind seems to be a bit more westerly. I think this is roughly a 45-degree angle versus the runway heading, which is north-south. Big picture-wise, looking to the north, also a bit more cloudiness. Seems that we are right in the middle between clouds and looking directly to the west towards the North Sea blue sky. All right, now up ahead we should see the arrival of new airplanes. Let me also take you once again through the current status quo over here. If you guys just joined me, you might have missed the briefing in the beginning. This is the big airplanes chart on flight radar with the KLM A340 crossing the North Sea and expected at 10:30, so that is in 20 minutes. So we are going to see that land on this runway regardless. Hey, that airplane wasn't there before, right? Or this one? I just saw one earlier. So two 747s, one before the A380 expected just past noon. The A380 itself now expected at 12:40 or thereabouts, and behind it is another A340 arriving from Baku, 10 to 1, 5 to 1. So I'm thinking to stick around until these have all landed. Not sure, knowing our luck, if we are going to see them up close or if we have to zoom in, see them land far away. Current runway usage still unchanged, so we are at the only runway being used for arrivals. We are standing approximately here. Kaagbaan, runway 24, and Aalsmeerbaan 18 left, also in use for departures. The METAR probably hasn't changed that much. Refresh, let's have a look. So we have wind from the southwest. The crosswind component is 8 knots. The headwind component is also 8 knots. The wind in total is 11 knots or 12 knots? 11 knots. Few clouds at 1900 feet, and the air temperature is still 11 degrees Celsius, so that is approximately 52 degrees Fahrenheit. So not much to write home about. Did forget to show you the weather radar. Let's do a refresh. This is the past hour. We are approximately at the yellow square, and yeah, this is the past hour. Let's see, yeah, there's the time. So it's now 10 past 10. You can see we do see a little bit of shower formation. This is the few droplets we experienced earlier, but it does look like what we are seeing will pass south of us mostly. At least we can see it quite clearly. In the meantime, our next airplane about to touch down, arriving from Paris Charles de Gaulle, KLM 737. So if there is going to come any rain, we should have to look in this direction. And what we now can see on the horizon, as you can see, that isn't coming closer. We'll be passing south of us, so for the time being, we're in the clear over here, which is nice for a change. All right, ladies and gentlemen, members, please get out your playtime emojis. It is that time again. Our next airplane arriving from Reykjavik is an A320neo from Play. Flight 460, flight time 2 hours and 28 minutes. The airplane 1 year old, first flight October 2022. Hey there Vinny, hey there Marcel, hey there Donna, hey there Jewe Slammer, I already said hi to. Hey there Blackburst, good morning. JD, good morning. Geekaboo, good morning. I'm so sorry if I did not greet all of you personally. Those of you active in the chat. If you just joined during the briefing. Oh, nice, you could see the lights go on. Nice headshot. Now turning away from us to land. And from a headshot just before landing, it looks like we are going to transition into a butt shot pretty soon. So, ladies and gentlemen, members, also get out your butt shot emoji. Ready, aim, and fire. Evelyn, goedemorgen, good morning. Eduardus, good morning. Eduardus tuning in from Mumbai? No, Timur, Indonesia. Welcome to the show, one and all. Hope you guys are doing well if you just tuned in. Hadi Eva, goedemorgen. You're watching arrivals at Polderbaan, runway 18 right at Amsterdam Schiphol Airport. At the moment, this is still the only runway being used for arrivals. That will change pretty soon, I think. Earlier, runway 27 was used for secondary runway for arrivals. Not sure if they are going to do that if the wind keeps being the way it is right now. China Cargo Airlines arriving from Shanghai. Sweet spray. Now, this airplane took 11 hours and 17 minutes to get here. 777 freighter, brand new. Well, almost brand new. First flight October last year. Now, from one big ass airplane onto a much smaller one. Our next airplane arrival from Munich is an A319 from Lufthansa. Flight 2302. Flight time 1 hour and 10 minutes as we speak, and the airplane is 13 years old. First flight was in November 2010. Hadi Paul, goedemorgen. And good morning, hello Elena. Evelyn says, my mother has a very funny nickname for the playtime plane. Do let us know. What might that be? Hadi Dirk, goedemorgen. Boomy, good morning. Ollie Place asks, what do you think about the Etihad? Well, Etihad, I think the standard livery is already quite nice. Yesterday, no, not yesterday. What was it? Friday we saw the green liner. I have to say that I also like that color on that livery. And of course, there's also that special blue airplane with, what is it, Arsenal or Manchester. I'm no football fan, at all. So it was from a football team. I do recall that, but that is also nice. Don't you just love the moody atmosphere created by the lighting during this time of day? Yellow van spotted. Is that a birth control vehicle? It says 51. Okay. Where is it 31? No, that's 51, right? Area 51? Okay. Interesting. So many questions, so little answers. Flying AMS Live logo up next. Air Canada Flight 808 7879 Dreamliner arriving from Toronto as well. This airplane took 6 hours and 6 minutes to get here thus far. The airplane, a lot of sixes, also 6 years old. First flight, January 2017. Man City, thank you, Ollie Plays. I knew it, man. It was something similar. Man City. Temp Accounts asks, what do I think about the Quetzalcoatl? I think that's one of the nicest special liveries out there. A lot of intricate details. It's a pity that on landing they pass by so quickly. They should really stop, take a moment to pose and let us film and take pictures of that livery. Quetzalcoatl is absolutely beautiful livery, at least in my opinion. Looking around, I'm not seeing Russell or one of the other Crow family members. Not sure if they are still hanging out in the Crow bar or maybe doing other stuff. Alright, what's in the pipeline next? A320neo arriving from London Gatwick, EasyJet. Also still had a few smartphone filmed short films, short clips I took last January waiting on my flight back to Amsterdam while at Innsbruck Airport. Filmed the arrival and departure of a couple of airplanes, an Embraer 190 Air Dolomiti, the departure of a Transavia 737 to the east. Beautiful airport, and if you ever get the chance to fly into the airport or out of it, definitely take it with both hands. You'll take off and land right in between the mountains. EasyJet A320neo was also one of the departing airplanes. You could nicely hear the whine of the engines. It's not the best quality, it's not Amsterdam, it's not up close. Shot it with my mobile phone, which is a OnePlus 6, so not the newest of models, not the best of camera work, but still nice to see if you are curious to see what it looks like in real life. Next up is going to be KLM Embraer 190 arriving from Zurich, flight 1954. And how is that glide slope shot coming along? Looking behind me on my laptop screen, it is still not the best of visibility to the north. I can see only one. Bit of a pity. Looking up, even though there is, oh wait, no, there is one contrail. was looking for contrails. There's only just one. It is already quite far away. Hopefully we'll get to see a few quads from Frankfurt or Munich flying to the United States later this morning. I'll have a close eye on that. Also, big picture wise, this looks nice. This is what I'm looking at, looking behind me. Right, KLM flight 1954, arrival from Zurich, Embraer 190, flight time 1 hour 15 minutes. 15-year-old airplane, first flight October 2008. Move into the light, my friend. Moody atmosphere. Not for much longer, because I think we will soon be in mostly blue sky, at least to the south. The south half of the sky over here will pretty soon be draped in blue again. Not sure about the clouds over here. They do seem, for some reason, they seem to be getting closer, which is odd because the prevailing wind should blow them away from me. Right, is this the next airplane? I think it is. I think it's still the only airplane visible to the north. Let's zoom a little bit out. Let me crouch. Oh wait, there is a second one at 11 o'clock? 10 o'clock. Ever so faintly visible. Now folks, if you guys are liking what you're seeing, don't forget to drop a like. I see we have 600 viewers and just over 200 likes so far. I'm sure you guys can do better than that. Ah, nice one, Evelyn. So the playtime airplane, a vibrator with wings. Rollaway Stone asks, when is the A340 landing? Well, I think pretty soon. Last time I checked, I think that's like 20 minutes or so ago. It was just crossing over the North Sea, had already left mainland UK behind it, so probably not too far away. This next airplane is Croatia Airlines arriving from Zagreb. And Croatian butt shot incoming. Move into the light. Show us you're behind. Doesn't rhyme, but squeaky brakes. Hey there, Colin. Good morning. Colin tuning in from Manchester. What's the weather like over there? Are you guys also having dry weather today? I think you guys were also having rain in the UK last weekend. First you guys, then it went to us. Hey Jinshin, good morning. Welcome to the show, mate. Good to see you again. Colin says dry today. Happy to hear that. I'm sure you guys have had a lot of rain over the last weeks as well. It's been a very wet fall so far in Europe, I think. The upshot is there is already a lot of snow in the Alps. The season starts earlier this year. EasyJet arrival from Edinburgh, and we're not done yet with the airplanes arriving from the United Kingdom. This seemingly crabbing Embraer 190 in fact is arriving from London City. To switch it up, we are going to see an Air Serbia behind it arriving from Belgrade, and after that another Embraer 190 arriving from London City, but from BA and not from KLM. Let me pinch out a little bit, see where that SLM flight is, and it is already nearing the coast, so I'm thinking we should see it in 15 minutes or so, probably, maybe less, I'm not sure. Pretty soon at least. Eddie, good day mate. Hope all is well. Ofek, good morning. Welcome back, good to see you again. Thank you for the update, Lane. I always try to make an estimation, but if it is 6 minutes, that's even better. So the A340 will be landing pretty soon. It is nearing the coast of the Netherlands already. Right, KLM Embraer 190 arriving from London City. Air Serbia arriving from Belgrade will be next, and after that it is British Airways arriving from London City, also in an Embraer 190. KLM Butshot coming in. What's this then? KLM A330 using reverse thrust. Now we see a KLM taking the first exit. Beautiful. Next up, Air Serbia flight 360, Airbus A319 arriving from Belgrade. This airplane took 2 hours 20 minutes to get here so far. 17 years old, first flight November 2005. Over here where I'm standing, the calmness of the wind has returned. Of course it is blowing a little bit, but not as hard as when the rain was still close by. You can still see that there's a little bit of crosswind for the airplane. Last minute correction to the runway heading and a little bit of crabbing. Gotta love how a lot of those non-Dutch airline carriers still regularly use the reversers. Particularly now that there is still a bit of moisture on the tarmac, causing some spray. Right, so next is the Embraer 190 from British Airways, also arriving from London City. And if you look a bit higher to the left, there is an A319 arriving from London Stansted from EasyJet. In its wake, the number 2 for the time being. And let's see. Turkish A330 arriving from Istanbul will be number 3, and the A340 is going to be number 4. Hadi Rick, goedemorgen. Alright folks. First up, EasyJet A319 arrival from Stansted. Turkish A330 arrival from Istanbul. Behind it. Now can we see that A340 already visually? I'm looking, yeah, vaguely. 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock-ish from the A330. Just about showing itself. Right, let's quickly go back to the Turkish A330. About to set foot on Dutch soil. It is arriving from Istanbul, flight 1951. Flight time 3 hours and 31 minutes as we speak. That is par for the course. The airplane is 9 years old, had its first flight in December 2013, so it's going to celebrate its 10th birthday next month. SLM A340 behind it. Hadi Wilma, goedemorgen. Good morning Michael, good morning Robert. All right. Surinam Airways flight 994 A340. So easy to say A330, but it's an A340-300 arriving from Paramaribo in Surinam. This airplane has been flying now for 8 hours and 56 minutes. 15 years old, crabbing a little bit. 5 APUs on board. The airplane first flew in April 2008, making it 15 years old. And good morning, viewer from Ukraine whose name I cannot. Leila? No. Welcome nonetheless. And indeed, Chris, the sun is shining and providing beautiful lighting today. That's often the case in the morning when it is a bit cloudy. Savor the moment. Ah, label puck. Welcome. Nah, don't be sorry. Next up is SAS, arriving from Stockholm, A320neo, flight 1553, flight time 1 hour 44 minutes. 5-year-old airplane, first flight November 2018. Now, country of registration, isn't that the Irish flag? Interesting. A little bit of tax minimization perhaps. Hey, Alan, morning mate, good to see you. Belusin, Said, good morning to you both. Hey there, Osind, tuning in all the way from Uganda, welcome. So nice to have viewers from so far away. Everybody here is welcome, hope everybody is having a great time. Mr. Big Dash, Zach, good morning. PB477, good morning. KLM doing one of their typical high speed, keep up the speed, vacate late, sooner to the gate type of landings. For the time being it is back to the narrow bodies. Next up is going to be KLM flight 1002, 737-800 arriving from London Heathrow. Visibility seems to be improving a little bit, we can see two airplanes with relative ease. I think there was also a third one behind it, or wasn't there? There is. Oh yeah, I think at 8 o'clock, I see it vaguely, of the number 2, obviously. Right. The whole assortment of narrow bodies will be passing us by in the upcoming minutes. We begin with this 737-800 and behind it is going to be an A319 from EasyJet arriving from Copenhagen. This airplane coming back home from London. Fish, chips, cup of tea, bad food, worse weather, Merry effing Poppins, London. Next up, EasyJet, Airbus A319 arriving from Copenhagen, flight time 1 hour and 5 minutes, which is par for the course, and the airplane is 14 years old, first flight December 2008. So we had a 737 just now, A319 up next, behind it is an A320 arriving from Birmingham, and after that we are going to see an Embraer 175. So if someone has bingo, let us know. We're doing narrow body bingo. Who has 4 adjacent airplane types in a row the soonest? Winner takes home a glide slope shot. And Chris got my reference. Nice catch. Hey there Brandon, goedemorgen Tony. Moritz, good morning. Damien, good evening, afternoon? Evening still, no, afternoon still probably, late afternoon. .737 just took off from runway 24. Big picture wise, looking to the west, southwest, south, southeast, east, northeast, back to the north. EasyJet A320neo, if I recall correctly, arriving from Birmingham. Hey there John, good afternoon / evening. Tuning in from Melbourne. Good to see you again, hope all is well. Moody butt shots over here just this day. Damien says 7:43 p.m. evening, that is definitely evening then. Brandon asks, what's the farthest you had one come in from? I think the furthest that the airplane servicing Amsterdam fly to from over here is probably Jakarta, or I think Jakarta probably. Right, Embraer 175. Now, it is time for another Flying AMS Live logo, arrival from Las Vegas. Possibly containing Formula 1 fans returning back to the Netherlands. Flight 636, Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner. Flight time 9 hours and 11 minutes as we speak. This airplane is 5 years old, began flying in August of the year 2018. Hadi Lucas, goedemorgen, good morning. Tony is night owling, 3:45 a.m. still in Chicago. So you're up late or up very early. Thank you so much for your kind words there, Levi. Good morning, Vasil. All other viewers who have tuned in the meantime, welcome to AMS Live. You're watching arrivals at Polderbaan. My name is Boy. This is KLM flight 636. Coming back home from Las Vegas. Maria is correcting me. The furthest you can fly is Buenos Aires. I knew it had to be either one of the Latin American destinations or Indonesia, but apparently Buenos Aires is the furthest you can fly from Amsterdam with a flight time of 13 hours and 50 minutes. Thank you for that update, Maria. Hey, I see airplanes on flight radar that are moving over the city of Amsterdam, so it looks like runway 22 has opened as secondary runway for arrivals. Let's have a quick look on the laptop then, shall we? Right, so this is the current weather situation. Let me refresh. This is past hour. We are at the yellow square, and you can clearly see also visually that the rain is nearby but passing south of us. We should be good for the upcoming few hours. Runway usage. Let's do another refresh. We are standing over here at the Polderbaan, somewhere over here at the moment, but it is always a bit behind. Still the only runway, but I think they are also using the Schiphol Oostbaan runway 22. See airplanes come over the city of Amsterdam. Quick refresh of the meter. Let me also copy paste it for you guys into the ticker. We have wind mostly from the west-southwest. Still between 10 and 15 knots. Few clouds at 1900 feet. Not much going on in that respect. And the SLM has landed. We are expecting 2 747s and the A380 that are now still underway. The first of the 747s from Doha expected around noon, so in an hour and 15 minutes from now. The A380 over Hungarian airspace right now is expected to land around 12:40, so that is in just under 2 hours from now. And shortly behind it, around the clock 1 p.m., around 1 p.m, another 747 is expected. The plan is to stick around until all of them have landed. Not sure if we are going to see them all. They might land on a different runway. Let me also paste that meter I just copied into the ticker for you guys. And then it's back to the airplanes. Just had the Norwegian grumpy face land over here. So no time to waste, quickly back to the camera it is. Hey Susanne, goedemorgen. And all other viewers. Oh, I say it like in Dutch, but I should say Susanna because you're tuning in all the way from Texas. Good morning, all other viewers. Hope everybody is doing all right. Over here we're having great fun and beautiful lighting. The next airplane to arrive, Ryanair, arriving from Dublin, flight 420 with a flight time of 1 hour and 6 minutes. This airplane is 19 years old, began flying in October of the year 2004. And that flag is definitely the same as the one from SAS. So SAS flies airplanes that are registered in Ireland. Interesting. Ireland in that respect is a little bit like the Cayman Islands. Whenever businesses set something up there, it usually has to do with taxes and minimizing them. Curious why SAS would do it, but thinking I know the answer. Alright, now, next up. And good morning to Declan, tuning in from Wolverhampton. Welcome to the show, mate. British Airways flight 430, arriving from London Heathrow. Bloop, there we go. Is there traffic behind it? Not that I can see immediately. Let's have another look at flight radar. Should be an Embraer 190 behind it somewhere. Right, well, the upshot of runway 22 being used as a secondary runway for arrivals is that the runway is too short for the A380 to land on. I think 747s might do it if they're not too heavy, but the A380 definitely needs a longer runway. Could mean that they open up runway 27 instead later, but it could also mean that we might actually see the airplane land over here. I'm not going to make any predictions. If there's one thing we found out yesterday, once again, it is that Schiphol is very hard to predict when it comes to runway usage. Sun momentarily obscured by some clouds passing by. Still friendly clouds over here, at least up close. Further south it does look a bit more rainy, precipitationally. No, that's not the proper word. Precipitation-y? I think that is the way. Oh look, you can also see the sun poking holes through the clouds with rays of light. Now over here in the water everything is still calm. The crow gang seems to have arrived, and no, those are probably sparrows. So in the water over here still calm. No ducks, no coots, no grebes. I did see ducks when I was walking up here earlier today. They were still further south. I'm not sure if they're here anymore. Yeah, there's something swimming over there past the bridge. That's way south. They were a bit more close by when I was walking up here this morning. Not sure, is that something right there in the middle or is that just a stone? I think it might be the latter. Right, whoa. Almost missed out on the landing of another Embraer, which you don't see every day over here at Schiphol. Ahum. But this is Captain Wheelie. This is Captain Wheelie. Captain Showboat. Look at this. Might have to make another separate video. He already did the longest wheelie of the year. This one is definitely in the ballpark. Not sure if this is longer than the other one that I have a separate film of, called This Wheelie is Just Stupid. I think we might have another one coming later this week. Hey Paul, Mr. Biker, my pedigree chum, good morning. Good to see you again, mate. Hope all is well, hope you've had a good weekend. Embraer 190 coming up next, arrival from Norwich. KLM flight 1516. Now Norwich, of course, not at the other side of the world. The flight time of this airplane, 28 minutes thus far. 13 years old, first flight January 2010. And good day to Captain Kamerou Barin. Welcome to the show. Distinct Focus asks if the wheelie is legal. Well, I don't know. I think it might be 18 plus material. Parental supervision is advised. Multicivil asks which airport this is. This is Amsterdam Schiphol Airport. Ah, Martin, goedemorgen. That's a nice abbreviation, me myself. The WHEELIE. What? Wheelie of the year. Hey, Jerry. Good to see you again, buddy. Hope you've had a good weekend. Only had a brief moment to interact with each other yesterday when Schiphol decided to close the runway, even though the crosswind was well within the capacity of the airplane's landing. I actually googled it beforehand because I was having some doubts, should I go to 27 or maybe just go to Polderbaan. Googling the upper limits of crosswind for 737s and bigger airplanes, I found out that yesterday's wind should have been well within the limits, but just like how some ski areas close their lifts if there's a slight breeze, and others are still open, which I've encountered a couple of times before. So too does it look like Schiphol ATC is also cautious, if not overly cautious. I do see a little bird on a lamppost over there. Is that Russell? Could be. If it is Russell, he did choose to sit a bit far away from me today. Not seeing him or Cheryl or any of the other gang members up close. Alright, now, ladies and gentlemen, if you need to go to the bathroom, now is your time. We have a few moments before a couple of heavies are arriving. First up is looking to be an A330 from KLM arriving from Bonaire. There's also a 777 arriving from Qatar from Doha. And there's a 777. I'm already looking left of me. There's a 777 flying downwind arriving from Cape Town. And I'm looking to see if I can show you guys the airplane. How high is it flying? 3,900 feet. So not far above the horizon, but it is already further north now. Might also be flying between the clouds right now, so there's a good chance I'm not looking in vain and you guys are seeing absolutely nothing. Now, it will come soon though. The A330 is turning final somewhere up in the north. Yeah, I think the clouds are unfortunately obscuring our ability to see that. Then again, it is also north of Beverwijk. I think if there were no clouds today, we should see it turn final. I think right now the clouds are interfering with our visibility a little. And good morning, Georg, Tessio. Good morning, Janus. Good to see you again. Hope all is well over there in Greece. While we're waiting for the airplane to become visible, let me take a sip of water. Bird controller is also doing an inspection, it seems like. K2 with the Raptor. That's the Ford Ranger Raptor. Come to think of it, of the 4K vehicles, I think K1 is the only VW. I think the other three are all Raptor Rangers, Ranger Raptors. No fireworks being set off yet. Howdy Ton, goedemorgen. And Ton, the Orange Pride already arrived back in its new livery this morning. Early morning. It arrived before I was on the scene, so I wasn't able to capture it, but it should be on the platform right now, and I'm thinking it might take off. Not sure if it's planned to go out again today or later in the week, but it should have landed early this morning with the toothpaste stripe between the orange and the blue now. And Possum Holler just subscribed. Thank you so much for that. Folks, if you want to be like everybody else who doesn't want to miss the upcoming streams, be like Possum, just subscribe and hit the bell icon when you do. That way you get notified beforehand whenever I go live in the future. Also, if you're liking what you're seeing and you haven't done so already, consider dropping a like. Helps to get this stream and content out to more people like you and me who are also into content such as this. Barely visible, arriving from Bonaire, is KLM flight 767, which obviously isn't a Boeing 767 but an A330-300. Flight time 8 hours and 47 minutes as we speak. This airplane is 11 years old. First flight was in March 2012. And Richard, good morning. Another new sub here. Welcome to the family. Thank you for your vote of confidence. Thanks for choosing AMS Live. Hope you'll have fun for many more streams to come over here. You can see that the airplane is experiencing a little bit of crosswind. It's not as fierce as yesterday, even though we only saw 2 airplanes. Boy, did they crab, those 2. A Dreamliner and an A330. And this one too definitely has its nose in our direction. Now, sandwiched in between the heavies and also slightly visible already in the top left quadrant is the one narrow body that we are going to see of the upcoming 4 airplanes. EasyJet arriving from London Gatwick A319. The 777 arriving from Doha from Qatar is going to be number 3, should be behind it, but we don't see it yet due to low visibility, clouds in the way I think. Behind the 777 arriving from Doha will be the 777 from KLM arriving from Cape Town. Double triple time, and it is a double triple 300 in fact. Before that all goes down, here is the A330 arriving from Bonaire. We still have moody lighting here, as you guys can see. Also still some moisture on the tarmac, even though it isn't that much anymore. Nice backdrop of clouds in the distance. Which can also make it sometimes a bit difficult to see the next airplane. But there we go. So that's an A319 up front. EasyJet arriving from London Gatwick, and the 777 arriving from Doha from Qatar behind it. Begs the question, can we also see the second triple already? Looking up and down. Not yet. Typically, yeah, at 7 o'clock you can just barely make out the second triple. Right. Let's first have a look at the A319. EasyJet flight 28679. Flight time 46 minutes. 15 years old, first flight March 2008. So that makes it 2 months younger than the Orange Pride and Choc-y. Right, butt shot incoming. Just a quickie, then we have to turn back the camera for the first of the 2 triples. Nice glide slope shot. Take in the glide slope shot. It is double triple time. Qatar Airways flight 275 arriving from Doha, 777-300 ER has been flying for 6 hours and 29 minutes, which is roughly the same time the A380 takes to get from Dubai to here. This particular airplane is 13 years old already. Began flying in 2010 in February. Now next up is the PH-BVD, the 777-300ER in the SkyTeam livery. Today, coming back home from Cape Town, South Africa after a flight of 11 hours and 10 minutes, about to touch down here. The airplane is 14 years old. First flight was in August 2009. Almost directly looking us in the face. Now more gradually towards the runway heading. All quiet, no reversers used, bit of a pity. Now Flores, thank you so much for just becoming a member. Welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge. And thank you so much for your support there, buddy. Hope you enjoy the lounge, new chairs, very comfy seats, and of course all the custom emojis at your disposal. Thank you so much once again, Flores. And good morning, Madeira Aviation spotting. Welcome back, good to see you again. Hope all is well, and of course all the other viewers who have tuned in as well. Hope everybody is having fun. Over here in Amsterdam we are having mostly blue skies directly in our vicinity, so we should stay dry. We have a little bit of wind from the southwest, which I think is now moving a little bit more westerly. I'm looking behind me because I thought I heard the noise of tires from the firefighters. I haven't seen them today yet, despite being here early. No, I think it must have been the triples. Remember, I've had this before. It was actually the APU starting up that makes the noise that is similar to the tire sounds of the firefighter engines. Right, Transavia, but it is flying for KLM. Arriving from Dublin, Ireland, a 737-800. Flight time from Dublin back to Amsterdam, 1 hour and 4 minutes. The airplane is 16 years old. First flight was in April 2007. So this airplane flying for KLM, in fact. And here you can see the airplanes that are on their way back to the main platform area. If you're new to the channel and you're not familiar with the layout of Schiphol Airport, this runway is the furthest removed from the main platform area, which is why it also has a separate tower. The main tower adjacent to the terminal building is way over there, which if I zoom out you can see just how far away it actually is. Airplanes that need to go back to the gate are still taxiing at least 10 minutes along that line of trees that you see there, going back to the main platform area, which is further ahead and behind the trees over here. You can see the gates, the airplanes. The tower is immediately adjacent to the main terminal building. The train station is also there. Sheraton Hotel also over there. Alright, next up an Embraer 190. No, it's an Embraer 170 from Air France. Air France Op. Where is it? Yeah, Air France Op. Arriving from Lyon. Which has taken this airplane an hour and 17 minutes to get to Amsterdam. The airplane is 15 years old. First flight was in September of the year 2008. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Un petit peu de reverseur. En goedemorgen Herben, Paddy, all the other viewers. Let's see. Looks like we are going to see a few more narrow bodies once again. Well, in fact, quite a few. I also see that JetBlue arrival from Boston is approaching the coast. Still 5 or so preceding it. Alright, our next airplane is arriving from Southampton. It is an Embraer 175 KLM flight 918, flight time 51 minutes. The airplane 6 years old. Its first flight was in February of the year 2017. Teeny tiny butt shot, there we go. Alright, well, Paul has to go shopping. And Afrodite is going to check the food in the oven. And you guys are all multitasking, good on you. Turning back the camera and quickly going back to the laptop to say a big thank you to GE, who just super chatted and says, great stream, what an airport, hi from, Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, home of the famous groundhog. I probably mispronounced your place of residence, apologies for that, but thank you so much for your super chat. I'm very happy to hear that you are enjoying the content, and I hope everybody is. Punxsutawney. Now there's a tongue breaker if there ever was one. If you are liking the show, don't forget to drop a like. If you haven't done so already, consider subscribing and hit the bell icon if you do. If you want to stay updated of upcoming live streams, get the heads up beforehand. Now, still a few clouds in the north. I think visibility is improving. Overall, I would say that the majority of the sky over here is now blue actually. It is more cloudy in the periphery, so being zoomed in, you might get the impression it is actually more cloudy over here. It is more cloudy over here than it actually is. Big picture wise, you can see I'm in quite a large zone of blue sky. This is where the wind is coming from. This is where I need to look to see if I'm going to stay dry or not. For the time being, I think I'm perfectly fine. Those clouds look friendly but not threatening, as in rain will come out of it. And we have another SkyTeam livery over here. KLM B737-900 arriving from Manchester. KLM isn't one to do a lot of reverser action, although we did see an A330 earlier this morning that did. Where did it come from again? Port of Spain or something? I think it did. The exception to the rule. This was arriving from, has arrived from Manchester after 50 minutes of flight. The airplane itself, 22 years old already. First flight was in June 2001. Good morning, Andre. Tuning in from Hamburg. Herzlich willkommen. Bina, good morning. Puksatani. Puksatani. It's one of those names you have to hear it first one time before probably being able to pronounce it fully properly. Next up is another Embraer 175 arriving from Aberdeen. Flight 1442. Flight time 1 hour and 7 minutes. 6 years old, first flight June 2017. E2 Embraer 195 arriving from Newcastle after that. Stereotypical KLM landing, keeping up the speed, vacate late, sooner to the gate, and considering the distance to the gate, no wonder they're doing this. Also going back to the computer to highlight the message that I just saw pass by. Thank you so much, Jerry, for gifting 5 AMS Live memberships. Major support is above and beyond. Thank you so much for that, Jerry. Welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge, those 5 new members. Paddy, Marlene, Bina, PB477 and F. Jacobsen. Don't forget to say thank you to Jerry for your gifted membership. Welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge, all 5. You now have access to all the best seats in the house and of course the custom emojis. Thank you so much for that, Jerry, once again, and welcome the 5 new members. Now, folks, big picture wise, if you just tuned in, the plan is to stick around until approximately 1 p.m. local time. The Orange Pride, is that now active on the platform, will be going to Sao Paulo. Should have been going to Sao Paulo already. The next Queen is arriving from Doha, Qatar. Will arrive 5 minutes past 12, so that is in 45 minutes from now. The Emirates A380 is flying over Czech airspace and will be arriving 40 minutes past 12. In Dutch we could say 10 minutes past 1:30, but I don't think that is the proper way to say it in English. Another 747 behind it, expected around 1 p.m, flying over Hungarian airspace just west of Budapest. The plan is to stick around until all these airplanes have landed. Not sure if they're going to land on this particular runway, but hopefully we'll at least be able to see them, if not up close, then at least from a distance. Right, so that is the current status quo. Now, in terms of weather, you can see already should be good over here. We have a little bit of wind, not too much. Wind is blowing from the southwest. Let's have another look at the runway usage. Forgot to show you that. At the moment we are at the Polderbaan. Let's refresh. Right, so Polderbaan, this runway is where we are standing at, somewhere over here. The small Schiphol Oostbaan is also being used for arrivals. Now I'm perfectly fine with this runway being used as a secondary runway for arrivals because it is too short for the A380. We'll have to land on this runway. There is a risk that they might open up runway 27 as a secondary runway later, and that is something I am hoping for will not happen, because that is bad news. We're not going to see the airplane very well from over here if it lands on either runway 27 or 22, but 22 is out of the question. So I'm hoping 22 will stay the secondary runway for arrivals later today, because at least the A380 will then land on this runway. Coming back from the United States, from Boston, Massachusetts, JetBlue A321neo. I see that the tripod is starting to have a little trouble with the wind. There isn't a lot of wind, but regular viewers will know that I already ordered a replacement part for the drag mechanism on the pan axis, the left-right movement, which the drag is no longer as strong as it should have been. Means that whenever there's a bit of a breeze, my whole setup is a bit susceptible for it, causes some unevenness in the left-right movements. And also, once again, thank you GE for your super chat. Punk Satani, you did a good job. Thank you for that. I will go back to the internet when I'm done streaming and Google if I can also find the proper the pronunciation. Probably still not 100%, but at least hopefully it is close enough. Right. Back to the business at hand. Two E2 Embraer 195s up next. You can see them in the distance. A 2-airplane glide slope shot. Third airplane should be entering the glide slope from the left, but I think that the clouds might still be in the way. Yeah, the cloudiness doesn't allow for 3-airplane glide slope shots, so we'll have to make do with what we can see. And this is the first of 2 consecutive E2 Embraer 195s, KLM flight 1278 arriving from Edinburgh. It is now underway for 1 hour and 4 minutes. The airplane itself is 2 years old, began flying in March of the year 2021. Oh, that was the tip of my head bumping into my phone, which is mounted on my camera, causing a little movement, a little bump. Now, if you want to tell Embraers apart, if you see big ass engines and a relatively slim fuselage, that's the E2. If you see winglets that are relatively big and outward facing, relatively, it's an E2, it's an Embraer 175. And if you see relatively narrower, relatively less tall winglets that are positioned more vertically, more upward, you're dealing with an Embraer 190. Of course, fuselage length can also help to distinguish between the two, but if you want to distinguish the Embraer 175 from the 190, looking at the winglets is the easiest. Now, next up is the second of 2 consecutive E2 Embraer 195s arriving from Stockholm, KLM flight 1106, flight time 1 hour 36 minutes. This airplane newer than the previous one. This is brand new, and that on flight radar means less than a year old. The first flight of this airplane was in July this year, in fact. So unless a lot of babies have been on board already that have thrown up, it should still smell as new. Right. At the moment, the sun is being obscured by some thicker clouds, which makes the lighting a bit more dark, as you guys can tell already. Just pointing up in general and keeping the camera still for a moment. You can see it is moving, the clouds are moving relatively fast, so, but then again, this is still coming for the sun, so looks like we are going to be in the shade for a small period of time, but the sun will come out again at some point. Alright, I do see an airplane visually and now also on camera. Next up, Embraer 190, KLM flight 984, the so manyth airplane between London City and Amsterdam that we've seen this morning already. Flight time nominal 40 minutes about. It is 9 years old. First flight was in February 2014. Ooh, and Stefan is heading out for popcorn. That is a good choice to be munching on when watching airplanes. Now, for a while, the E2 Embraer 195 fleet of KLM was grounded for a big part, a big majority, well, a substantial part of them at least, due to engine problems and also, I think, availability of replacement parts or spare parts. At the moment, the entire E2 fleet is flying again. One of the airplanes that KLM attracted as a rental for the time being to cover for the absence of the E2s were a couple of Embraer 190s from German Airways, including a beloved one of the channel, the Choc-y, the D-APRI, the Lijstiever Chocolaterie special livery with all kinds of chocolatey sweets on the fuselage. We haven't seen it yet. We are still going to see it at least for a few more months. The lease was prolonged, I think, until after the winter season, so we'll probably still see it on occasion until spring or so, I think, then. Not sure until when exactly, but definitely an airplane often seen and loved by many. Everything that has chocolate on it is good, right? Right, another E2 Embraer 195. This one should have the 1700th E-Jet sticker somewhere on the fuselage. Now the sticker is on the left hand side. I think Veerle said in the chat at some point. So we don't see it on this side. KLM flight 1792 arriving from Munich. Oh, I was about to say a no reverser landing, but an idle reverser landing instead. Initially it looked like the slots were going to stay closed, but they did open eventually. Now, talking about Choc-y, ladies and gentlemen, drum roll please, our next airplane. You'll never guess what it is. But members, get out your special emojis. It is coming, the D-APRI. Regulars of the channel will know the registration and its first flight by heart. The D-APRI started flying in January 2008, making it 15 years old, just as old as the PH-BVD Orange Pride 777 from KLM. And I think we've seen that before a couple of times as well. Arriving from Glasgow. Wind is picking up a little bit. Let me lock my axes and enter my camera menu. Let's just temporarily enable image stabilizer, providing a little bit dampening of the vibrations you still get when the wind picks up a little bit. That the wind is picking up, you can clearly see that the airplane pilot is also correcting a bit more. arriving from Glasgow, flight time 1 hour and 4 minutes. Choc-y. It is a lovely combination, I guess. I don't know, crab and chocolate. But that is what we have been served. Also, some nice shots of the sunlight shining between the clouds. Those are in Dutch called Johannes ladders, I think. Johannes ladders. Or is that a different phenomenon? I think you call it that, but not too sure. KLM flight 1188 arriving from Bergen up next. Embraer 190, flight time 1 hour and 22 minutes. The airplane is 5 years old. Its first flight February 2018. Now, Iceland Air is also approaching, but it is the MAX 8 that is coming. We have seen a few instances where they sent 2 MAXes, or a 757 and a MAX or 767 and a MAX, 2 in a row, landing within 10 minutes or so, sometimes even back to back. I'm pinching out to see a bit further out on flight radar. I'm not seeing a second Iceland Air just yet, which isn't to say that there isn't one arriving, but if it is underway, it will be with a bit more separation then. 777 arriving from Rio de Janeiro is also coming this way, flying downwind west of me. So I'm having a look to see if I can spot it and maybe show you already. I'm not seeing it, unfortunately. It should be somewhere over there. They can sometimes be very hard to spot already. Sometimes you're lucky you're seeing them. Murmuration in the distance. Quite a big one, actually. A morning full of surprises. A330 using the reversers, and also this 737 definitely used its reversers. Unfortunately, we were also able to witness how the humidity on the tarmac has mostly evaporated in the meantime, but it was definitely clearly audible. Alright, so next up is going to be Iceland Air Flight 500 arriving from Reykjavik. It's a Boeing 737 MAX 8. Flight time of this airplane thus far 2 hours and 32 minutes. That is par for the course. That is a typical flight time. It's the new livery, which I'm sure someone out there must love. Most people like the old livery better. This airplane is 4 years old. First flight February 2018. It's a bit reminiscent of the latest Transavia livery. White and the name in letters on the side, but then in blue instead of green. Alrighty. Heavy traffic inbound. And also a heavy following the airplane on the right. The airplane on the right is KLM Flight 1904, Embraer 190 arriving from Hanover. Flight time 43 minutes. 13-year-old airplane, first flight August 2010. And behind it is a Airbus A330-200 arriving from Minneapolis, KLM Flight 656. You might also pick up on an airplane departing to Linköping, Embraer 175. No reversal landing, it seems like. But we are starting to see the sun again, poking a hole through the clouds. And as you guys can see, we'll soon have had most of the shade and we'll be back in direct sunlight pretty soon. Now, in the meantime, our next airplane crabbing its way to the runway threshold, arriving from Minneapolis, Minnesota, KLM Flight 656, an Airbus A330-200, which has been flying for 7 hours and 27 minutes to get here from Minneapolis. The airplane itself is 18 years old already and began flying in July of the year 2005. And another departure to the north passing us by, which you might pick up on the mic. PH-BVD has been pushed back. The question is, what runway will it take off from? I mean, just to give you guys an idea, this is what you can see from runway 24 departures. With the backlight, you're not going to even see that it is the PH-BVD, let alone when it takes off from 18 left. So not expecting that we can see a lot of it today. It has to be an arrival on this runway or a departure from this runway, obviously. Two airplanes visible. A little Embraer 190 in the foreground arriving from Göteborg, and behind it is a 777-200 arriving from Rio de Janeiro. And good morning to Alan Lee, who is tuning in from the northeast of England. Thanks for the stream, excellent camera work. He writes, thank you for your kind words, Alan. I'm glad you're liking what you're seeing. And of course, I hope that everybody is. If you are and you haven't done so already, consider dropping a like. And if you want to stay updated of upcoming live streams, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon. That way you get notified whenever I plan to go live again in the future. This is KLM flight 1154 arriving from Gothenburg, Embraer 190. Flight time has been 1 hour and 14 minutes. Now touching down. This airplane is 9 years old. The sun is beginning to shine again over here. Lovely. The days are short enough this time of year as it is already, so always nice when you're out when the sun is also shining then. Oh! Is that a dead fish over here? Only now just seeing it. A beached fish, it seems like. Oh no, is that a bit of pipe? It looked from this angle as if it has had a tail, but it does look more like a bit of plastic pipe. There you go, even when it is so close up. Need to zoom in with the camera to see it properly. Anyway, this is something I can clearly see, and you guys too, hopefully. KLM flight 706 arriving from Rio de Janeiro, 777-200, touching down after 10 hours and 34 minutes. This airplane is 16 years old, began flying in January of the year 2007. Indeed, Malky, the famous Polderbaan pipefish. A rarity, but then again, rare things is what we do over here. It's what we do best. Glide slope shots and rarities, freaks of nature. Right. This next airplane is an Embraer 190 arriving from London City. Yet again, there's so many of. I think that the wind is dropping a little bit again, so let's see how going back to filming without image stabilizer works out. Top left quadrant, you can see the next airplane. That's an A321 Neo arriving from Athens from Aegean. And let's see. Not seeing any traffic going to 22 anymore, runway 22, the Oostbaan. Does look like all traffic is now coming this way. Interesting. Hopefully they won't open up 27 later. I really hope that we'll be able to see all the heavies up close for a change. Particularly after yesterday. I feel like ATC has something to make up to us. Not yet the beautiful butt-shot type lighting that we saw earlier. The sun again momentarily obscured by clouds. I think we will soon see the last of it. At least that's what I'm hoping for. Alright. Maria has to go, of course, being up very late over there in New Zealand. Thank you so much for joining, Maria. Sleep tight. Hope to see you again on the next one and enjoy the rest of your week. In the meantime, A321 Neo Aegean arriving from Athens up next. That is Aegean flight 3624. Flight time 3 hours and 31 minutes, so that is nominal. Par for the course, 3.5 hours. It's approximately Athens and Istanbul. I always thought that Tel Aviv was 4.5 hours, but the El Al 737 that arrived this morning was well over 5 hours underway. I'm not sure if it had to take a detour or if they had significant headwind underway. Or maybe that I'm just wrong in thinking that Tel Aviv is 4.5 hours of flying away, which is also very well possible. I know that's not Jack Sparrow. I have my hands off the camera. It is hovering perfectly still. Ooh. Again, a little bit of reverser being applied there. You could clearly hear it. If only it was a little bit, but if it were hunting for the pipefish Malky, I think it would have been a bit closer by. Pretty sure that it has great vision and would be able to see the pipefish more clearly than I could ever do. Let's see. But the hunt is continuing. Again, hands are off the camera. Not touching anything. Hovering perfectly still. Right, we got two Embraer 190s coming up, and after that a 777-300. More birds of flesh and bone also passing through the shot. German Airways. Hey, and this one actually says German Airways, so is this not a KLM then, but an actual German Airways? It's an Embraer 190 arriving from Luxembourg. Flight time 47 minutes. 15-year-old airplane. First flight January 2008, so this is just as old as Choc-y and the PH-BVD Orange Pride. No treats on the fuselage, unfortunately. Boring. There we go, 777 as number 2, being preceded by another KLM Embraer 190, flight 1754, arriving from Bremen. Now Bremen, Amsterdam Today a 39-minute flight, also not too far away. A 10-year-old airplane, first flight November 2013, so celebrating its birthday this month. 10 years old. Still younger than my car though, which I believe is from 2005. Then again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it or replace it. If it's still adequate. Little butt shot to boot. Pretty optimistic we are going to see the sun back again pretty soon. It's just waiting to get through the clouds. Alrighty, 300 ER arriving from Sao Paulo, KLM flight 792. And there she is again, that golden orb. Orange Pride just took off. Is that it? Did it take off from 24? So yeah, if this is the Orange Pride, here on my camera screen I'm not seeing any detail in the livery. Not the best of lighting for that purpose. Alright, Queen from Doha landing in about 9 minutes over marker Mir. Now, if it is over marker Mir, then it is coming this way. So that is good news. So we're going to see at least one Queen, hopefully one more. And of course that King. Wouldn't that be something? Fingers crossed that they're not going to open up runway 27. That would be such a backstabbing thing to do. Anyway, before the Queen, the first Queen arrives, first up this A320 arriving from London Luton. Touching down now after 46 minutes of flight. And we get a free butt shot, courtesy of EasyJet. Ah, Mr. Cole. Morning, Lance. Good to see you again. Hope all is well. Not sure if you were already around, but good to see you again, mate. What's that I'm hearing? Is that a triple? I think it might be. That is a triple, in fact. And Lux Air flying for KLM. But then, wait a minute, am I looking at the right airplane? I think, yeah. Okay, flight radar says Lux Air. Clearly this is German Airways. And one of the Chinese triples passed over and passed us by. Unfortunately, the clouds are a little bit in the way. China Eastern, that was. Ryanair 737-800 arriving from Dublin. Up next, flight 3006. Flight time 1 hour and 8 minutes. The airplane is 18 years old. Its first flight was in March 2005. And good day to Shyam Rahman. Welcome to the show. Welcome all other viewers. If you tuned in just now, your timing is excellent. The first queen of the day will be arriving soon. We already saw an A340 land, and hopefully we will see another queen and an A380 up close. It's all expected to go down in the upcoming hour. 2 747s approaching Schiphol. One will land on this runway in a few minutes. The A380 sandwiched in between. I think the last time I checked the ETA was 12:40, so that is in 40 minutes from now. If you missed any of the highlights of the show because you tuned in later, that's okay. Come back later to the stream and I will have timestamped all the highlights, which I always do after the show. So if you come back a few hours after I'm done streaming later, then you will see the timestamps of the highlights. That will take you right to the good stuff. Alright, we're waiting for the next airplane to arrive. The next airplane to arrive is going to be Her Majesty the Queen, and I think I vaguely see her already up ahead. Now, a big thank you to Jerry for once again gifting 5 memberships, above and beyond, mate. Thank you so much for that. And welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge, the 5 new members: Kleine Kiki, Bartek, Tim, and Jack. Don't forget to say thank you if you just got a membership given by Jerry. And Jerry, thanks again for that. Tremendous support, above and beyond. I think you've done more than enough already today. But thank you so much once again, and welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge, those new members. Now, if you like queens like this, don't forget to drop a like if you haven't done so already. Also, if you want to stay informed of when I'm going live in the future, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon. That way you get notified if YouTube at least works properly. Next up is our first queen. It is a Boeing 7478. At the moment, only a measly number 10 worldwide, most tracked by 176 people on flight radar. Surely we can do better, folks. Let's bring it to number 1. This is Qatar Cargo, arriving from Doha. The airplane has been flying from Doha to Amsterdam now for 6 hours and 9 minutes. A 7478, relatively new, so it is 6 years old. First flight January 2017. If you compare that with the average age of the 747-400s that are coming in on a regular basis, this is still a baby. Propelled by decent engines, unlike on the A340 that we saw earlier. This one powered by 4 GEnx engines, if I'm not mistaken. The same engines that go onto the Dreamliner. Proper thrust. Now, the question is it heavy? Will it use the reversers? Will we get some nice audio along with nice video? We'll find out soon enough. Even Her Majesty has to crab a little bit into the wind to compensate for the wind now blowing. I think the wind has turned a little bit more westerly in the meantime. It was more southwest, now a bit more west. Oh yeah. That was not disappointing at all. And the special lighting returning just in time. Well, at least momentarily, that glimpse. And good morning, Stephen from Manchester. If you just tuned in, I hope you were in time to catch the arrival of the first queen of the show. Yo, Evan! Good to see you again, mate. Hope everything is still okay there over there in SoCal. Good to see you again. Well, if you're still doing catch up, be sure to come back later when I have timestamped the highlights. If you're strapped for time, that will save you some. Oh, there's the lighting again. Beautiful. Right, well, behind me an E2 Emirates 195 is landing, arriving from Hamburg. Which only briefly spooled up the reversers. Not missing out on a lot then. Alrighty, now time to go back to the action at hand. I was looking up momentarily, I heard an airplane at great altitude. I was looking to see if I could spot a contrail, but I am not able to, unfortunately. One of the many airplanes between London Heathrow and Amsterdam. This is KLM flight 1008 737-800. Flight time 44 minutes. The airplane 23 years old, and it began flying in the year 2000 in May. And in the meantime, the sun is starting to come out again. KLM style landing. Keep up the speed. Vacate late. Sooner to the gate. Alrighty. Now, you can probably pick up on it as well. The airplane that passed by at altitude. The only contrail I'm now seeing is a very minute one. I'm not even sure if I can pick it up on the camera. Should be... yeah, there it is. Just a teeny tiny twin jet. Keep saying I believe the sun will come out pretty soon, and each time you look at the cloud orientation versus the sun, you'd be inclined to think so, but continuously new clouds keep popping up, unfortunately. It's a bit more shadowy for longer than I would have liked, but can't be helped. Embraer 175 followed by an Embraer 190, airplane types that are very rare over here at Schiphol Airport. This is a very rare Embraer 175 arriving from Newcastle, KLM flight 962, Flight time 54 minutes, 5 years old. First flight was in April of the year 2018. Have a look at the winglets, the shape, the orientation, the size versus the fuselage. Outward pointing, relatively tall. Compare that with the next airplane, which is an Embraer 190. You'll quickly see how to discern the two airplane types at first glance. Arriving from Helsinki, Finland, KLM flight 1166 coming this way. Embraer 190, as I said, flight time 2 hours 6 minutes. That is normal for Helsinki, Amsterdam, around 2 hours. The airplane is 14 years old. The first flight of this airplane was in 2009 in June. And Richard, thank you for the update. Silkway 747 over Nuremberg, now headed to Amsterdam. Question is, which runway will it land on? This morning, so far, well, no, early in the morning, runway 27 opened up as secondary runway, and that would be bad news if that would to reoccur. Later in the morning, runway 22 opened up as a secondary runway for arrivals, and if they are going to open up a second runway, let's hope it is going to be runway 22, because that is too short for the A380. So at least the A380 will have to come this way then. Obviously, all traffic to this runway is even better, but you know that is something what will not be realized. Hadi Anja, goedemiddag. Steven says that the Emirates A380 is expected in 30 minutes. That is good news. Now, another Embraer 175 arriving from Humberside will be coming next. Let's have a quick look at the current status quo again. So at the moment, this is the current weather situation. Let me refresh the meter. Okay, wind has turned a little bit more to the south. It is now south-southwest. Still approximately 10 to 12 knots as it has been all throughout the morning. Temperature 12 degrees Celsius. So that is 54 degrees Fahrenheit, roughly speaking. Let's refresh the runway usage. At the moment, Polderbaan, only runway being used for arrivals. Hopefully it's going to stay that way, and hopefully they are not going to open up runway 27. If they are going to open up a secondary runway, hopefully it's this one. In terms of precipitation, current status quo. This is the last hour. No precipitation in the vicinity. Whatever there is far away. So basically we can close this window. It's not going to matter. Qatar has just landed. The next airplane, the first quad, is going to be Emirates flight 147 arrival from Dubai. Expected just before 1:45. So in half an hour from now, it is approaching the German-Dutch border, and a bit further in Germany, in the vicinity of Nuremberg, is this airplane, which I am going to stick around for. Will probably be the last airplane of the day. Silkway West arriving from Baku. At the moment, expected to arrive in just under an hour from now. So that is the current status quo. Back to the studio. Now, another one of those rare Embraers that you never see here at Schiphol Airport, except today, it seems like. Ooh, I think that's a 747 on its way to the United States. Hardly any contrail, but we have a few clouds that I can use as a reference frame. 747, clearly recognizable by the backward slanted wings. Airbuses are facing more forward. Trying to search for the right term for it, but I am failing to. But they're more swept backwards. That's the word I was looking for. Airbuses have more swept forward wings. The A380, of course, more easily recognizable because the wings are so big. The A340 and the 747 you can quickly distinguish looking at the wing shape. This was a 747. I saw a bit of darkness around the tail, so I'm assuming Lufthansa. Hey Roy, goedemiddag. You're absolutely welcome to lurk a bit. Seats in Lurkers Lounge are quite comfy. Sit back and relax, enjoy the show. Shamrock arriving from Dublin, Ireland. Now, thank you so much, Evan, and congratulations on 6 months of membership already. Evan writes, time flies when you enjoy watching planes, and that certainly is true. In fact, this Saturday marks the 1-year anniversary of the first live stream I ever did. So Evan, thank you so much for your continued support, and I hope you will stay a valiant member for many more months to come. And congratulations and thanks for your continued support, mate. I think you're one of the first members I ever had, together with Jerry. Now next up, an A320neo from EasyJet, arriving from Belfast. Picture looks extremely orange. Definitely turned up the saturation a bit, the photographer. Flight time 1 hour and 7 minutes. The airplane is 3 years old. First flight June 2020. Again, the sun is beginning to come out. Sandwiched in between two A320neos, the next airplane behind it is an Embraer 190 arriving from Düsseldorf. And including this airplane, now number 3 is a Vueling A320neo. Hey Jin, good afternoon or good morning. Good to see you again. Hope all is well. Yo, Alvin. Skana, mate. Good to see you again. So many moderators in the chat at the moment. Holy smokes. Gezellig, as we say in Dutch. Which doesn't really have a good translation into English, at least. Right, so our next airplane arriving from Düsseldorf, just past the border. KLM flight 1856, short flight 30 minutes, 9-year-old airplane. First flight was in December 2013, so it will be turning 10 next month. There you go. One of the other early adopters celebrating 6 months of membership already. Thank you so much, Alvin, for your continued support and of course for everything you do as a moderator. Time flies when you're having fun. That definitely applies to this 6 months already. Thank you so much for your continued support and congratulations, buddy. Hadi Rick, goedemiddag. Right, turn back the camera. Vueling A320 Neo arriving from Barcelona, flight 8309, now touching down. Just a little bit of reverse thrust being applied there. Indeed, Jerry, the Yellow Sticker Club. You guys are on your way to the next color, I think, which I think is green. But that is, I think, it's just like with emojis. New emojis get unlocked with bigger increments, so too new membership badges get unlocked after bigger intervals. I think the next term is a year in total, so I think you need to be 6 months in yellow, code yellow, before going to code green. Insane. But we'll get there eventually, undoubtedly. Now in the meantime, another seldomly seen airplane approaches. It is an Embraer 175 from KLM City Hopper. Just a handful of them flying over here. So it's always nice to see them whenever they are there. Flight 1060 arriving from Cardiff. 57 minutes of flight. And the airplane is 6 years old in total. And saving money on the engine using the reversers. Not at all. Right, now next up, LOT. And is that a special livery? It doesn't mention it, but the picture does look to have a sticker, at least on the left hand side of the fuselage. Visit something something. Okay, interesting. So is this a special livery or not? It's an Embraer 195, not an E2 Embraer 195, arriving from Warsaw. We'll be touching down after having flown an hour and nearly 45 minutes. This airplane is 15 years old. First flight January 2008, making it as old as Choc-y and the PH-BVD Orange Pride. Popular month for airplanes to begin flying. And there is something on the back. Visit North Moravia. For a minute I thought in that blue part there was an American flag. I thought I saw stripes, but couldn't see quite well what all the details were in fact. What I do know is that the next airplane is a big one, Dreamliner 10. Before zooming in further, let me first say a big thank you to Bernd, who just became a member. Welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge. All the custom emojis now at your disposal. Thank you for choosing AMS Live. Thanks for your support. Welcome to the club, Bernd. Flying AMS Live logo, about to touch down. This is KLM flight 622, arriving from Atlanta, Georgia. It is a KLM 787-10 Dreamliner that began flying from Atlanta to Amsterdam 7 hours and 18 minutes ago. Alrighty. Beautiful landing. 3-year-old airplane, by the way. First flight December 2019. Sun seems to have cleared the clouds, at least for the time being. We're also seeing another airplane coming this way. Norwegian. There does seem to be something on the tail, probably a grumpy face. Let me turn back the other way, otherwise my wires would get tangled. As Steve says, Max Verstappen Alonso. Excellent. Alrighty. Next up, Airbus A319, arriving from Liverpool. Flight 23441. Flight time of 51 minutes. The airplane is 12 years old. First flight March 2011. And there should be a Transavia behind it. Only vaguely visible in the top left quadrant. Visibility on the glide slope unfortunately has not been the best today. Is that, did I see, is that an airplane in the, yeah, I think we were able to see an airplane approach the glide slope from the right. Let's just having a look. Well, definitely a shiny livery. Next up, Transavia, arrival from Barcelona, 737-800. Top left, the next airplane, which is a 737 arriving from Rome. Oh, stupid wind. All right, Max will land on runway 22 pretty soon. Where is he? Got everything. Oh, that's the F900 probably approaching the coast now. The Dassault Falcon 900EX. Because I'm not seeing anything. Right. Next up, KLM flight 1598, arriving from Rome, 737-700, flight time 2 hours and 8 minutes. The airplane is 13 years old. First flight, November 2009. Mrs. Professor has to go. Time for bed. Thanks for joining, Mrs. Professor. Sleep tight. See you on the next one. Right, so there is a bizz jet now moving west to east, north of the runway. That is presumably Max Verstappen will obviously go to runway 22 if it is going to Amsterdam. And Geert, thank you for the update. The A380 just passed Lelystad. Which runway has it been assigned to? I'm assuming this one. Oh yeah, it is flying this way. So the A380 will land on this very runway. That is nice. And here this cow says, please Max, without much commentary for the recording. Mate, you're not going to hear that airplane in the first place, so you can just mute the voiceover if we're even going to see it. Because earlier this morning I tried seeing if we could capture some airplanes landing on 22 and it was very difficult to see. It seems like it has opened up a little bit, but don't get your hopes up too high. If I'm going to be blunt about it, you will see jack shit. It is absolutely a small airplane far away. You will not see much detail, just like how we didn't see any details in the Orange Pride. The lighting is not in our favor. The distance is too great. I will, of course, see if I can film something of that airplane when it does touch down, but in terms of expectations management, you do know Jack. Nice. How's he been doing? Top Air Portugal, flight 670, A320 arriving from Lisbon. Floaty. Alrighty, Rick asks about the A380, and the A380 is approaching the glide slope. Let's see, north of Zaandam. I think the clouds will probably be in the way still. But it is a big airplane, so if we are going to see one airplane well in advance today, it is going to be the A380. I'm doing a little scan and I think that the clouds that you are seeing are in the way. Now that is most definitely not the A380, but it is another bird doing some nice hovering. Right, let's see, that F900 on flight radar should be flying over the city of Amsterdam. So before the A380 we will have a few moments to see if we can spot it. First of all, I'm just zoomed in now to somewhere to the east. I'm now looking visually first to see if I can spot it in the first place, because it is actually quite hard to see those airplanes. They are really small. If you are able to see them in the first place. Let's see, it's over Vondelpark now, okay. Probably not too far above the tree line, the top end of the trees that you see in the middle. Let's see, I think I have it. Right, let's see, where's that building and where's the airplane? It is left, right of it. There we go. Right, well, there you go. If this is Max Verstappen, please let me know. I'm not able to see it, I just see a few pixels. Also looking to my left to see if I can see the A380 already. Well, you guys are the pros. Tell me if this is the airplane. I did film it once when I was standing adjacent to the runway 27, from a distance. Quick peek on my laptop. Well, could be. Still not seeing the A380. So the timing is excellent. Being able to film this airplane, which you guys tell me it contains, or at least is Max Verstappen's airplane. I believe you. Hard for me to see, but there you go. Now, also still hard to see, but pretty soon, not much longer, is today's Emirates A380 going to this runway. So we are actually quite lucky with that. EK147. The Emirates A380 at the moment number 5 worldwide most tracked, followed by 616 people. Surely we can do better, folks. Let's bring it to number 1. We have more people watching than are now following the A380 on flight radar. The king of the skies. Now number 4 tracked most worldwide. Most tracked worldwide. Low caffeine levels screw up the order in which I say things. Caffeine and alcohol, but I'm not on either at the moment. Running low. Anyway, I'm digressing. The daily flight arriving from Dubai. At the moment, flight time 6 hours and 40 minutes. Just a little bit of headwind perhaps underway. Normally it's around 6.5 hours at this point. Standard livery by the looks of it. In fact, the old standard livery at the moment. AMS Live members already have the newest iteration of the standard livery at their disposal as a custom emoji. The beautiful ribbon update. The airplane we're now seeing is 9 years old, began flying in February of the year 2004. Now, in the meantime, also a big thank you. Where's that message? Damn it. There you go. Alvin, thank you so much for just now gifting 5 AMS Live memberships. That is totally uncalled for. You're already doing enough by supporting the channel as a moderator. That goes for all the moderators, but thank you so much. If you just received a gifted membership by Alvin, don't forget to say thank you. Welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge, those 5 new members. And once again, a big thank you to Alvin for just now gifting 5 memberships. Here comes the A380. I will shut up now. Let's look and listen. Wow, folks, if you like that good shit, definitely drop a like if you haven't done so already. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon if you want to stay informed of upcoming live streams in the future. We don't have much time to linger because the Heavies Fest has only just begun. Mind you, the next airplane will be an Embraer 190. So we can linger a bit longer, but there's a 777-200 arriving from Guayaquil, now number 2. Aero Mexico is also coming this way. Flight 25, is that the Quetzalcoatl? Fingers crossed. No, standard livery. Now, folks, don't tune out yet. There's also a 747 that is coming this way. Will it land on this runway? Is it already in Dutch airspace? Rick asks about why the outer 2 engines on the A380 stay closed. That's a good question. They don't have reversers equipped to them because they are mounted so wide that it will probably damage stuff that is placed on the sides of the runways. The wingspan of the A380 is wider than that of other airplanes, and the engines are also, the outer engines are also positioned further out. Also, the A380 has very strong brakes and doesn't need the additional braking power of 2 more engines. They can do without and use just the inner 2. So that is why you always see the inner 2 being deployed and the outer don't, because the outer they don't have reversers in the first place. Good question, Rick. Nice one. Let's see, I have too many airplanes on my screen right now and helicopters because I turned off the filter to see that airplane with Max Verstappen just now. So let me, no, that's another helicopter. There's another 747 expected, folks, and I'm looking forward to seeing where it's going to land at. Is it already in Dutch airspace? Has anybody seen what runway it has been assigned to, if it is already in the airspace of the Netherlands? Trying to multitask here while filming an Embraer 190, trying to re-enable the filter for Schiphol on flight radar. PH-BVD, there we go. Inbound and outbound both, there we go, that is a bit tidier. Latam Cargo 767 also coming this way. Etihad Triple also coming this way. Very nice. And thank you, Freddy Dutch. So that Queen is also coming this way. We have a 777 over here. Latam Cargo 767 coming in. Aero Mexico Dreamliner coming in. Etihad triple coming in and a 747 coming in. Ladies and gentlemen, the Heavies Fest, the grand finale. Don't go anywhere. Unless, of course, you really have to. Yes, I see that runway 22 has reopened. See more airplanes going to 22. So that's the secondary runway at the moment. Our next airplane is KLM flight 1986, Embraer 190, arriving from Basel. Flight time 1 hour and 4 minutes. The airplane is 15 years old. Its first flight was in November 2008. And indeed, Peter, definitely a lucky day today. Feels like adequate compensation for yesterday's debacle with only 2 airplanes and 3 the firefighters outnumbered the airplanes in yesterday's brief stream. So, redemption day. Silkway in 22 minutes. Thank you so much for that, Tiger. So, in the meantime, we will definitely find some amusement in the heavies that we are going to see in between. The Latam Cargo is supposedly very nearby left of me. I'm having a look to see if I can see it. Big patch of blue sky. Should be able to find it somewhere. Really having difficulty finding airplanes today in the sky. Oh, it's already near IJmuiden, so I'm looking too far south. Should look more in the vicinity of the radio tower, but still not seeing it. Right, it will show its face soon enough. The eternal cloud in front of the sun. Seems like it's a never-ending story, a recurring theme, a continuous theme, I should say, over here. But then again, no rain, so any day without rain is a good day over here. You can see we've had our share the last 6 weeks. The puddles are still in the land where I think wheat or corn, no, not corn, definitely wheat or something else. Oh, sugar beets have grown. Of course, sugar beets. Right, next up, Aero Mexico Flight 25, a 7878 Dreamliner arriving from Mexico City. The airplane has been flying for 9 hours and 41 minutes. The airplane is 10 years old. First flight September 2013. Right. Let's have a look. Embraer 175 is up next. Another rarity over here at Schiphol Airport. Pointing it to the right airplane. Yeah. Looked closer on flight radar than it actually was, but immediately left of it is the number 2. Etihad 777 arriving from Abu Dhabi, a 777 freighter. And the 767 from Miami, from Latam Cargo, is going to be number 4, it seems like. Right, humongous big bird, or at least quite a bit bigger than the previous airplane. Etihad Cargo flight 913 arriving from Abu Dhabi. Flight time 6 hours and 39 minutes. It is a 777 freighter, 7 years old. First flight February 2016. And the Kestrel standing guard. We're not able to see the next airplanes yet, or are we? Only vaguely. That is the A320 arrival from Munich. Latam Cargo 767 will be coming next. Last couple of times we saw the 767, they really applied the reverse thrust. I'm hoping this cargo plane is also heavily loaded and will also apply reverse thrust. Let's have a look and listen. Yeah, no, that was Captain let down at the steering wheel. Not exactly what we had hoped for. Now, next up, Lufthansa A320 arriving from Munich, flight 2304. 9-year-old airplane, first flight January 2014. Okay, yeah, at 9 o'clock, vaguely visible. We are at the same height now, visually. Latam Cargo 767, flight 1501, arriving from Miami, Florida. Where is that 747? Should also be getting close by. Ah, that is over Lelystad right now. Even though the airplane is pointing towards us, it is not doing that as much anymore as in the beginning of the stream. You can definitely see that the wind is not that hard and also not that much from the side anymore. The wind was more westerly in the beginning of the stream, now more southerly, but also definitely not as hard anymore. Did have a few moments where there was more wind. Also, the water is nowhere near as ripply anymore as it was earlier in the stream. However, if you look at the chimney smoke, you would still be inclined to think that there is considerable wind, given how it is leaving the chimney pretty horizontally, but it's actually not that bad. Right, Miami Cargo, Latam Cargo arrived from Miami. Looks like an all-white airplane. Very curious to see if that is actually still the case. Big ass ghost plane arriving from Miami, Florida. Flight time 8 hours 15 minutes. 767-300 ER. 25 years old. First flight September 1998. Flight 1501. That's a nice one, Han. Indeed, captain let down and major disappointment as the second officer. There you go, all white. Mind you, you do have to take it through the car wash more regularly. They are susceptible for getting dirty. Right, now let's have another look. Seems that this is one airplane after which we are going to have to wait a few minutes. There it is. Now, also an airplane type you don't see very regularly over here at Schiphol Airport, the Boeing 737-800. KLM only has a handful. This is one of them, so quite special to see this airplane over here in the wild. KLM Flight 1074 arriving from Manchester. Now, also a destination airplanes don't fly that regularly too. Flight 1074, 50 minutes of flight time. The airplane is 23 years old already. First flight was in July 2000. And our next airplane after that will likely be the last airplane as well, the 747-400 arriving from Baku. Now over Marker Meer. Almost missed this rarity. Shame on me. Thought I still had time to take a sip of water, but I was wrong. Apologies for that. Now, I see that Sally has also arrived, Sally the Seagull. In the meantime, the water over here is still devoid of birds. There were a few ducks further south as I was walking up here. However, at the moment, still empty. The water as you can see, right now we're waiting for the next airplane, and Sally is waiting as well. You can see the main platform area in the background, airplane taxiing to the main to the gates. In the meantime, Looking on flight radar, the 747 is approaching Alkmaar, still quite a big bit to the north. And Sally was tiptoeing for a second, Hans says. Well, between you and me, I'm not sure if she can still handle her liquor. She might also have a little problem there, but don't tell that to her directly. James asks, "You're sure that's not Steven Seagal?" Well, good question. Not sure. I think Steven is a bit more weighty, but alright, now turning final over Alkmaar is our last airplane. The Silkway West 747 arriving from Baku. Alkmaar is quite a bit to the north. We're not going to be able to see it turn. We'll have to wait a bit for it to come closer. In the meantime, we see that K2 is also busy doing a runway inspection. Let me have another look on flight radar. There are no other airplanes that will go land here before the 747. So that is actually going to be our next airplane. We'll have to wait it out a little bit. Now, I don't recall having heard any fireworks being set off by the bird controllers since streaming here today. Did hear some fireworks while setting up, but it seems like that was enough for the duration of the stream. Driving all the way to the north to the approach lights. I think, can we see the location I was standing at occasionally from here? Well, just left of the truck with the yellow unit at the back. The water over here runs in a straight line to the north. And further north, it is going to turn to the right a little bit, and the grass also extends that way. There, where that car is driving now in the center, that is approximately where I have been streaming from a couple of times. The northern threshold. Now, in the meantime, the 747 is approaching, so back to manual focus, focus to infinity. It is already number 5 worldwide most tracked on flight radar, and I think there we have it. It is going to be the last airplane of the day for today. After that, I am going to wrap it up, go back home again. Hopefully be out again on Thursday, weather permitting. Not sure yet what the weather is going to do. I think today, tomorrow and Wednesday are going to be dry days and relatively sunny. I think the rain is returning on Thursday. Not sure yet to what degree. If it's going to be all day drizzle or maybe just a few showers in one of the parts of the day. We'll see. This is Silkway West Airlines Flight 209 arriving from Baku. Flight time 5 hours and 14 minutes. At the moment, number 5 tracked worldwide on flight radar by 328 people. It says here. Hey Rick, Mr. Master, good to see you, buddy. Yeah, if you combine buddy and mate, you get something That is sounding strange. I have that in Dutch too, you know. Trying to say two things, mix it up, come up with something really weird. Silkway West. This airplane is 24 years old. The first flight of this airplane was in November 1998. Seems to be floating back and forth a little bit. Interesting. Now, for those of you who haven't done so already, don't forget to drop a like if you like what you are seeing, and if you want to see more of this in the future, your best bet to stay ahead of the curve is to subscribe and hit the bell icon so that notifications will be sent your way whenever I plan to go live again in the future. Last airplane of the day. Let's look and listen. I think the 747-8 trumped this landing in terms of volume and visual and auditive appeal. Not too bad though. Hey Bart, goedemiddag kerel. Hopefully you were just in time to see this 747 land. Last airplane of the day this was. I am going to wrap it up now. Folks, thank you all so much for joining me here on this Monday. And the sun also says hello and goodbye to you. I've had a blast going out here. Luckily, more luck today than yesterday in terms of the weather and Roma usage. I hope you guys had as much fun as I have had. And, oh. Let me first say a big thank you to Malky, who just in the nick of time super chatted and said thanks for another great stream, boy. Cheers Malky, thank you so much for that, and I'm glad that you enjoyed it. Hope everybody did. If you guys like what you saw, don't forget to drop a like if you haven't done so already. Hope to see you on the next one. Looking to go out again on Thursday, weather permitting. I will see on Wednesday what the weather is going to do. Fingers crossed. Don't forget, hopefully we can celebrate 1 year of AMS Live this Saturday, marking the 1 year anniversary of the first ever live stream. Hope that the weather will allow me to go out for an anniversary stream, but time will tell. For now, a big thank you to everybody who joined here. Thanks for the support. Those who have become a member or gifted a membership, the people who super chatted and super liked, or maybe bought something from the merch store, or donated through PayPal. So many people are supporting, and there are so many ways to support. I'm running out of caffeine and words here. Thank you all so much, moderators, for once again keeping the stream a friendly and welcoming place, and thank you all viewers for tuning in. I hope to see you on the next one. You all have a nice day and nice week, and I see you when I see you. Bye for now.